All right, Bulls and Bears. It's September 16th. Happy Thursday to those listening on Thursday. We've got an important broadcast today. I want to share a message that I got from a viewer, which was kind of bittersweet, or I'll explain it here in a few minutes. We're going to talk about another dagger in the heart of the US dollar and who's predicting the dollar is doomed and it's going to be rising prices. Another notch in the destruction of the US oil industry. We've got drilling that's been eliminated now or going to be soon eliminated in another state. Environmentalists say that's a great win. People looking for lower prices on oil and gas, not so much. Also, the new jobless filings have increased from last week as we predicted. And we also predicted that we're not ever going to get back to pre-pandemic levels. Here we are now 18, 19 months out of the initial shutdown phase, and we've been proven right here, like most things that we talk about here. And I don't give financial advice. That's why I want to start with this. I received recently a disturbing message on the initial view of this, or reading this. I thought it was okay, it's pretty cool. Someone here in California said that because of my channel, they bought a home and ended up selling it here only 4 years later with over a $200,000 profit. Okay, hurrah, hurrah, great. The problem with that is I've never advised anyone to buy a home because home prices are going higher. I said home prices will continue to go higher if they don't raise mortgage rates, if the banks continue to allow endless amounts of money, or the Fed in this case. I actually think it's reversed. I think the banks run the Fed, but anyways, if the Fed allows banks to loan out endless amounts of money with no reserve requirement, if institutions are allowed to come in and buy unlimited numbers of homes, which right now there's no law or limit on how many they can buy. I said if, and the key word here is if that were to happen, home prices would go up. Well, all those things happened. It turned out home prices went up. That particular viewer that made that much money in just a few years is very maybe lucky. Maybe you can say he was skillful at making his decision. He knew what the Fed was going to do. He knew that the lawmakers were not going to change anything. But the key to this channel is not that I know everything. I don't know what these people are going to do. I don't think anybody knows except for the people that are doing it. So what if the opposite would have happened? What if the Fed would have raised rates? What if banks were restricted to only loaning out physical cash that they had in reserves? I'm talking about paper money and coins. I'm not talking about digital money. What if that were to happen? Then you would have witnessed the collapse of the housing market and a collapse of prices. All right, so I just want to be clear, and this is why you hear economic people say this, especially on YouTube. We do not give financial advice. Do your own research. Do your own due diligence. Okay, I'll say it again. Home prices could go up more from here. Yes, I think they're too high compared to incomes, but it's not about incomes anymore. It's about the system of lending. It's about institutional buyers, low mortgage rates, supply chain disruptions, supply versus demand imbalance. There's home builders that cannot find workers right now. Homes are not being built as fast as they need to be built to keep up with demand. So there's so much happening there. There's so much to dissect when it comes to making a financial decision. Do not listen to anyone on YouTube. Look at the information and of course listen to it. The more information you have, the better in my opinion, but don't make any decisions based on what a YouTuber says, because what you think the YouTuber says might not be what he says. I never told anybody that home prices were definitely going to go up. That particular viewer, again, got very lucky. What I say here is I don't know what these people are going to do. It's manipulated. At the click of a mouse, they could bring this whole thing down tomorrow. They could bring the stock market down tomorrow. They can bring the housing market down by changing the interest rates. You see how this works? So it's not about being right or wrong. Of course, we do say when we're right, and I'll tell you what I think and what I'm doing, but none of this should be taken as investment advice. Right? Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for that person that made over $200,000 and he decided to leave the state of California. So he's probably going to buy a very nice house, hopefully in a much cheaper state, and maybe pay cash for it, maybe not have any mortgage, and hooray for that individual. And if you believe there's going to be endless amounts of support for these markets, including the housing market, and the banks, then maybe you'll decide to buy a home. If you think that this manipulation at some point is going to see some sort of reversal of course or some sort of disruption, then you might want to think about holding off. That's on you, and everyone's got a unique financial situation, and I'm in no position to analyze anyone's portfolio, your job situations. That's between you and your financial advisor, or maybe you are your own financial advisor. Okay, sorry about that, a bit of a rant, but I wanted to put that out there. It's very important for you to do your own research and make your own decisions. The US dollar is doomed. This is Mark Faber. The Fed will never tighten again until World War III, warns Mark Faber. So even somebody like Mark Faber, who's been in these markets for decades, he even admits he doesn't know. He knows the dollar is doomed, but the Fed will never tighten again until World War III. Well, is there going to be a World War III? So there you go. It's another if. It's another if scenario. What if? Some would argue that World War III is happening right now when you look at the divided American citizens. And when you look at the monopoly of power in this country, I don't think that's what Faber's talking about. I think he's talking about some nuclear event, but nonetheless, you could see that nobody really knows. It's up to the market makers, the monopoly men. We call them the money printers. Is the dollar doomed? I mean, I think so. That's why I keep buying silver. But yes, just like Faber says, there could be a situation that comes up that brings the markets down. I'm not saying it's gonna or is not gonna happen. I'm saying it could be, and it's a game of risk. So when you're playing cards against somebody and you think you have a good hand, you're betting. In this case, let's talk about poker. You're betting that you have a better hand, or you're not going to place a big bet because your hand is not that strong. It's pretty strong, but not that strong. And the point is, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the other person has. And you don't know what these people are going to do. We're talking about the money printers. All right, let's move on here. Jobless claims another 332,000. That's up about 20,000 from last week. We're still way over a million when you look at it on a monthly scale, a monthly time frame. And what can we say about it at this point? I mean, will it ever get back down to pre-pandemic levels? Probably not. Probably not, because nothing that caused this is being fixed. It's not just about the illness. It's about way more than just the illness. Of course, that's what a lot of the business news channels are trying to put all of the blame on. But we know that this whole system is designed to fail. For example, and I've heard other channels talk about this more recently, but it's something we try to stress here from time to time, or try to remind people, is that there's never going to be enough money to pay off the debt, because you print the money or create the money in digital form, and you give it out in the form of loans, and the people that have to pay it back with interest attached. So the only way to pay it back with interest is to create more money and take on more debt. You see, so there's not enough money in the system to pay off all the debt, because it's based on a completely baseless currency. All right, I think most of you know that by now. All right, let's talk about higher gas prices coming. That's what it looks. Another situation where we're going to see less production here in the US. Los Angeles County has voted to phase out oil and gas drilling. And let's go down into this article. This is out of AP, and it points out exactly what's going to happen. A phase out of oil and gas production would threaten hundreds of jobs, raise gas prices, and make California more dependent on oil from foreign countries. There you go. That's what's going to happen. Will an electric vehicle solve it? Well, here in California, we get warnings every summer not to use so much electricity, so I don't think that's going to be the solution. By the way, Gavin Newsom won, but any of the opponents, none of the opponents that I saw had any real solutions to really fix anything. So no shocker there, more of the same. Thanks everybody for watching this report. Be well, stay safe, keep stacking. Bye for now.